Does anyone ever look back at the bandage, the sawed-off crust of the cast scribbles? Does anyone ever look back at the stitch in the suture and ask, what has healing meant for you? Does the bandage get to reclaim elasticity, or perhaps, if it was assigned in duplicity, do bandages reclaim their abilities to soften voices while keeping the skin's red from yelling in infamy? Does the plaster reclaim its vocation to pastor bones while the knitted cloth above the wax paper groans like a medieval choir wanting to speak in tomes? Stillness, still with. Does this cast actually dance in another zone, or is this just a faded home to maintain this illusion until we've regrown an ability to move around on our own? Mobility as ours, and cast into a static tone. Does this cast have a voice in what healing combs, or is it just stillness for a while where its voice is shown? So I'd imagine if not for the liquor, the stitch and the suture would liven every lucid nerve and assist every tutor to tell us what each back and forth needle meant, to tell us what each hook and ladder meant to booster. Every tutor would learn the lift and shift of rulers, a little bit here and a little bit there, to tell us what each back and forth meant to care, telling us what each hook and knot meant to bear. Wouldn't that be a voice that livens every nerve? Surely it would assist every stare. Couldn't you imagine if it weren't for novocaine or brown hair, we would be regaled by the tales of the stitch and the suture and find our care betwixt the grits and the boozer? Or maybe we even had a section at bandages suture, cover songs, or maybe remixes of what nerves prove is newer. And then, would the bandage describe some heroic attempt, the blistering insides of a sound? No, not yet. The epidermal highs of a depth not met, but scratch, then scratch. Don't scratch for the newness of this bandage isn't publishing yet. Does its fading, stickly acclamation to my newness brooding fascination with fresh air and water as its imagination calls it to speak louder when unintentionally rubbed in aggravation? Or does the bandage's voice fall off silently? Love no more for its protection. It's a quiet quitter and mere reflection. It was a decoration of trauma. Now its voice isn't even leavened. We've patted down so that we can resume our relationship with crowns. Would the bandage have something to say to such a censored gown? Perhaps. Does anyone ever look back at the bandage, sawed off crust of the cast scribbles? Does anyone look back and ask the stitch in the suture, what has healing meant?